James Steinhubel, TVU on the community channel. We have the one and only Adam Stevenson with us, conservative commentator. How you doing, sir? Oh. Can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
No, I can now. I'll have to start over.
Sure.
Okay. Darn, now I got to edit it. Hello, it's James Steinhubel with TVU and the community channel. Have Adam Stevenson with us, conservative commentator. How you doing this week, sir?
I'm doing okay. How are you, James?
Very good, very good. COVID and our liberty. Where are you at?
Well, a lot of people are really worried about this stuff. Seem to be really worried about our freedoms being taken away, particularly the freedom of assembly and freedom to travel and freedom of movement, motion, and that kind of thing. Freedom to run and operate their business the way they see fit, not the way the government tells them to. And seems like there's been quite a few protests going on around here lately. The first one that I heard about, I don't know if it was the first protest for sure or not, but the first one that I heard about was one in Vancouver that was attended by Dan Dix from the Press for Truth. And he shared that video, and I think it's been seen somewhere between 3 and 5 million times now. So it's been viewed quite a few times. YouTube removed the video.
And what are they doing? How are they protesting? How are they protesting?
They were protesting perfectly peacefully. They weren't being irate or anything like that. There was one guy that apparently showed up and attacked them violently and tried to smash one person's camera. But other than that, everything went off without a hitch. It was completely peaceful. They were just trying to exercise their basic rights and freedoms.
So are they flaunting social distancing? Is that what they're doing?
No, they're flaunting the opposite of that. I'm being just sort of, apparently at the rally they kept their social distance, the 2 meters apart rule, but they just wanted to show the support and just kind of what our government's doing, because they're telling us all to stay locked inside our houses and to follow certain rules that sound draconian and Orwellian kind of thing, and that's really concerning to a lot of people. And I know that not just here in Canada there wasn't just protests. There was one in Vancouver, there was another one in Vernon, BC. I think there was a couple more in Canada. I don't know the exact locations, but I do know that across the states this weekend there was all kinds of them. Arizona, Colorado, Michigan, Montana, Maryland, New York, and one other one I can't remember, but I had a list in my head.
Anyway, the concern is not unfounded, and it's not fringe. In fact, Forbes magazine recently produced an article which is basically citing 4 areas where they see that there's a decline in liberty. Well, the first one they talk about is the overall decline in democracy around the world over the last decade, but they cite enhanced surveillance, suspension of rights, control over information, and delay of elections. What do you think about that?
Yeah, those things all sound very worrisome, and the control of information needs to be the biggest concern, I think, as that underlines our most fundamental freedom, our freedom of speech, next to the right to life. We have a right to be alive, but aside from that, our most foundational freedom is freedom of speech. It's what all other freedoms are built upon. And when we have governments controlling the flow of information and what information people can hear and impart themselves or impart to their children, that's really scary. And actually, just the other day, CBC News ran a bit where they were encouraging children to call out their parents if their parents say that the virus was made in Wuhan. The virus was made in Wuhan.
I hear you.
So here's CBC News telling kids that if they hear their parents telling the truth about where it came from, then they need to call their parents out on that and say that it's misinformation. And in Australia, their media was encouraging children to rat their parents out to the government for the same thing. They're encouraging children to dime out their parents to the state for wrongthink.
So we talked about suspension of rights last week. A delay of election doesn't really affect us because I think we're pretty well through our election cycle for at least, well, municipally it'll be another year and a half, and then federally another 3 years. Same with provincially. So we're good there. We talked about suspension of rights. Now we've talked about control of information. What about enhanced surveillance?
Yeah, well, in Europe, there's some places they have drones doing surveillance on people. There was a couple in the UK, and they live out in some small little town in the country, and they're just out walking their dog, and a surveillance drone came and showed up, and then police came and basically told them they had to go home and they weren't allowed to walk their dog. And they're not even in a major city or anything. There was no people around. They're out on a country road. That sounds really messed up. You hear about stuff like this and just wonder, like, what is going on?
So what's on the? I hear you. What's on the? What's coming up for Edmonton, though? You're a man of getting on the streets with your compadres with the issues that are important. Are you guys planning a rally or two to flaunt the Quarantine Act and COVID and social distancing? What are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't know what anybody here's doing about it right now. I don't have any plans as of yet to organize anything. However, I have entertained the thought of possibly doing that, but we'll see where things go here. Right now, our government's not telling us to be completely locked down, to stay in our homes, and that kind of thing. I don't like the idea that they're taping off children's parks and stuff like that, which just seems a little nuts, but okay. I'm not happy about the economy being shut down. And I think there's a lot of people that are unhappy about that. People are really concerned about going out of business and losing their livelihood and that kind of thing.
I think from what, and I'm certainly not an expert and I'm not following it, with every breath I have, but it seems that we're sort of getting to be at the peak of it from looking how it's swept across the world, where we're at in Edmonton. So, we're looking at maybe a 3 or 4 week ease out time. People in Denmark and Germany, some of these places are starting to let some kids go back to school where the infection and death rates haven't been high. So peering out there now, with this imposed infringement on liberty and the newness of everything, which speaks against, the conservative philosophy, because conservatives basically keep it the same. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Whatever, it got broke on us. So now we've fixed it. Now we're going forward. Either from the liberty side or the conservative side. What do you see for the next 3 weeks?
Well, hopefully we'll see the economy reopening, because a lot of people want to get back to earning their living instead of groveling at the feet of the state for $2,000 a month. And hopefully life will go back to normal. My biggest fear is that things just aren't going to go back to normal. That governments are going to continue their clampdown and that they're just going to tell us that this is the new normal now. That's my biggest worry. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it's a very big concern that I have, right?
Sounds good. We'll catch up with you next week. It's Adam Stevenson, conservative commentator with James Steinville on TVU Community Channel. Thank you.
Take care and God bless.
Thank you.